I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor, and what a blessing today was for a lot of locations because of the much needed rainfall. Just sprinkled and downpoured across the region. Some areas did get a little too much rainfall, if there is a such thing here in the summer, but we'll look at all of that coming up here in the Room to Room Weather Center on Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Let's first start with the first 12, and can't name a better start than that. 11 p.m., 20% coverage as those rain chances do try to linger just a bit of what's left in the atmosphere. 2 a.m., very limited, about 10% coverage, but as we head towards tomorrow morning, drier conditions move in place, and you see that start, still a mild temperature. It's just going to be a warm and muggy forecast once again. So 75 as we head out the door and 77 close to about 8. Just buckle up for those warm and muggy conditions, but some of us getting that blessing in some rain-cooled air by the afternoon. Taking a look across the region, 77 and 8 to 10, humidity right at 100% with that dew point right around that same margin. So what that means is that mugginess, yes, it's still in the atmosphere even after that sun has set. So we don't feel it as much whenever temperatures cool off, but trust me, it is still there. And the moment you walk outside, you'll feel that stickiness in the air, even with temperatures coming in about 77. Dew point a little bit lower there in Caledonia, 74 degrees. So that shows, if you can consider that a drier forecast, it is slightly drier in the air, so take what you can get. And not just in Caledonia, but also towards Kosciuszko, 75, dew points right around that same margin. A lot of that is due to the rainfall, and still some showers sticking around that Attala County area, pushing south, but we are still getting a little bit of that moisture here in North Mississippi. Rolling Fork, a great shot there, showing the stratus clouds there, the sky 81 degrees still at this point. So we talk about that blanket of cloud cover over the sky, limits how much we cool off. Well, there's your example right there. So you have that stratus cloud blanketing the sky and temperature still at 81 degrees. So the breaks in the clouds, they are a fortunate thing, and we'll definitely take that for cooling off further into our evening. So let's go ahead and assess where we're at right now. And I'm going to cycle this back over the last 3 hours because that's when it was a much more active pattern there towards Calhoun, Pontotoc, and Lafayette County. All of those showers started pushing south and east, and what's left is a little bit of activity there towards Montgomery, Attala, and Winston County. But trust me, it's not near the magnitude of what it once was. Jumping to that latest scan, we can see the large batch of moisture. I'm actually going to change radar sites here real quick down there towards Jackson and going to look at the preset mode on that. You can see the heaviest portions down there towards McGee and Macomb. Up here, we're just on the south end of Attala County. Zooming in on our area in particular, still getting a few lightning strikes. We're talking 25 strikes over the last 30 minutes, really right in the heart of that cell. And whenever we're looking at that, it is starting to weaken just a bit, even taking it over the last 30 minutes or so. You saw some of those purples showing up. Well, now all those purples are starting to dissolve into reds, and those reds dissolving into oranges. That's a great sign going forward because it means that we are going down on the scale and continuing to go down, so not going to see as electric of an evening as what we have had. And that is moving out of the area, actually. And a lot of these isolated cells out there towards Chula and Lexington, those are on the downswing as well. If we jump back the last 30 minutes or so, let me get that right scan. There we go. You can see that it's just basically a cluster that continues to dissolve and then add another one and just keep having that cyclical pattern with a lot of these storms. So overall, not concerned with any of these storms, not going to have any more severe thunderstorm warnings. If anything, this is just adding to what has already been a soggy Wednesday. And we'll take it because Drought Monitor comes out tomorrow. Maybe we made a dent on it heading into the next 24 hours as that new Drought Monitor comes out. Here's a sneak preview. More than likely we didn't. One day of rainfall is not going to make up for the days of rainfall that we have been lacking here recently. But when we talk about rainfall, I mean, some areas in 4+ inches, 4.4 inches there towards Lauderdale and Colbert County, down there towards Marion County, just under 2 inches. I believe there's a 2 right there, 2.1 inches hiding behind that other title right there. Lafayette County coming in with 2.7 inches. And I believe I spotted a pixel. I'm going to see if I can get it. 3.4 inches there on the southwest side of Pontotoc County. So this threshold right here, definitely our heaviest rainfall outputs, but we do have a few locally high outputs, 2.2 there in Tupelo. Boonville had quite a downpour. We did get some flooding photos earlier from some folks out there. So that's what I talk about with getting too much rainfall. It's whenever those flooding threats come into play that just becomes a little bit much. We just want enough to saturate the ground just a bit and get our crops growing, right? Well, even down there towards Chickasaw County, 2.1. The reason why I'm showing so many of these rainfall totals is because this was primarily the story today. We did not get a lot of damage photos, which is a fantastic thing, despite having several of those strong storms. So basically, it was a flooding rainfall threat, and heading into our evening, it's what's left of that rainfall threat. And you can see as we enter towards that 10 o'clock hour, a lot of those chances dissipating out, and that's just a result of that daytime, nighttime, that daytime heating. Whenever it goes away, well, of course, we start to diminish those rain chances. So that's the case in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, you name it, everyone experiences the same thing here in the southeast. But Futurecast does highlight a little bit of that moisture. I do want to say some of these showers that are popping up on Futurecast north of 82 are a bit ambitious because a large part of our moisture is going to stick around that cluster just south of our viewing area. So yes, some of that moisture will linger there towards Attala, Winston, and Noxubee County. Not overly high on those rain chances, but that's really our best threat to see a few more of those showers. Towards tomorrow morning, those chances do try to pick up back into the forecast. It's all going to depend on that frontal boundary, but I do have us staying dry for our Thursday morning commute, and even there towards mid to late morning and heading into the early afternoon as well. We're not overly high on those rain chances, so that is a good thing for our commuters, our early morning commuters, or even if you're starting work at noontime. Pretty good forecast as well. Patchy cloud cover throughout the day. It's going to allow that sunshine to peek through and warm our temperatures up, but definitely watching increased rain chances towards our mid to late afternoon. One of the things we'll be looking at here in just a moment. But we will get a look at that, a little sneak preview on the next 24 of when those rain chances kick in. It's going to be mid to late afternoon once again. And so models have kind of dialed back a little bit on those rain chances. One of the things we'll be assessing here shortly, but still have the chance at about 30% coverage there towards your late afternoon, early evening. So any plans you have tomorrow night, well, make sure to stay tuned so we give you the latest on that forecast. But temperature-wise, low 90s, it is going to be the heat. That's the primary story for a lot of us here in North Mississippi. We'll just take all the rainfall we can get at this point. So hopeful for that, and we are fingers crossed on that forecast. But coming up in 60, we'll be watching those latest rain chances, and then of course talking through the heat, because heat does become a bigger story heading into the weekend. We also have fantastic Weather Watcher pictures going to show off some of your guys' great work here in just 1 minute.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Laupon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Laupon has proven himself trustworthy.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. We're going to start with your Weather Watcher photos because they are just fantastic across the region. I could describe the forecast all day long, but visually getting to see it is so much better. Take a look at Aubrey's photo there in Tupelo, taking off from the Tupelo airport and capturing this magnificent shot of that rain shaft off there in the distance. And you know it was a breezy one because you kind of see it jutting out on the far edge right there, extending into some portions. I believe if they took off there from Tupelo airport, you take off going north, so this will be looking east, I believe. So this will be the south side of town. This is all a guess, but I think that's right. So on the south side of town, that wind gust kind of jutting out ahead of that cell. But this was an electric storm. I mean, the ones that went through Tupelo, there was so much lightning. And if you just stared up at the sky for 1 minute, you probably see about 7 strikes. That's how active and energetic these storms were. Shelly there in Scuba, this was a great shot of one of those dark clouds. This isn't a shelf cloud because it's not attached to a cloud base. This is just one of those low-lying clouds that look more menacing than what is actually happening. Probably getting a few sprinkles underneath there, but overall that was more of the calmer side. But this right here, this was a money shot there by Marty. Money shot by Marty. There you go. Write that down. But over there in Vardaman, we got several pictures and images and actually some damage that we talked about on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 that happened down in Vardaman. Well, this was a storm that they got. And this looks almost extraterrestrial. Whenever we're talking about this image, it almost looks like a UFO moving over Vardaman. Fortunately, it was not. Fortunately, it was just a thunderstorm, and a much needed thunderstorm at that, as they had heavy downpours. So hopefully saturating that ground just a bit. But a big thank you to Marty there in Vardaman, just letting us see that, because it was quite a spectacle. And it always happens right here. I'm going to adjust this here real quick, so bear with me one moment, because this is an important photo. What you're seeing right here, and I'm going to zoom in on it, is flooding there in the Oxford area. We had massive amounts of rainfall and a flood advisory that was in effect. Whenever we say flood advisory, it's those areas that are prone to flooding that are the most susceptible when a flood advisory is issued. Well, one of those areas being right here in Oxford. I don't think we got a specific location, but it looks like one of those rural areas that, you know, whenever you have a creek or a ditch, well, those things fill up with water relatively quickly. And you can see with how heavy that rainfall was over there, it didn't take much. But fortunately, I'm hearing that everyone is okay, and that's what matters at the end of the day. But thank you to Cindy for submitting that photo. Thomas and Payton, this was a money shot, and one that few people got to see. A, because you're on a body of water, but B, because it was so cloudy. And so we didn't get a great shot at that sunset tonight, but definitely up there in the Payton community. I mean, that's a fantastic shot. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I believe that's over there in Bay Springs Lake. So that is a great shot right there and a beautiful sunset after what was an action-packed day. Let's go ahead and take a look outside right now. Unfortunately, it's not sunset time frame, but we are getting a great shot there in Tupelo of that sky cover. Unfortunately, some of that data not coming through, but I can tell you it's warm and it's muggy right around those upper 70s. So it is still going to be that summer forecast nonetheless. And not just in Tupelo, as we jump over towards Oxford, 73 degrees right now. Fortunately, feels a little bit cooler, but that dew point still right at that same mark as the temperature. Whenever those two things equal out, shows how moist of an environment it is. And unfortunately, you're going to be hit with a wall of moisture as you walk out the door. Stratus clouds still highlighting a good portion of the area that's blanketing the sky, so not going to cool off too much more from where we're at right now in Clarksdale. I wish you guys could be Oxford, because it's 81 degrees, feels like 88, the dew point still in the upper 70s. That is not the most comfortable forecast as you head into the 10 and 11 o'clock hours. So that's unfortunate, but fortunately it's a much drier forecast, so we should be cooling off just a bit more overnight. Same thing in Greenville. I do assure you, you're not going to be in the lower 80s towards tomorrow morning. Those temperatures will continue to drop, so fortunately we're going to be in a much better state here in the next several hours. Our Mississippi Live Weather radar, you can see that large batch of moisture that moved on through. That Tupelo storm, that wasn't the storm that was pictured there from the Tupelo airport. It was the one that moved through earlier this afternoon, but definitely got additional rainfall. The Manor House finally got rainfall. I went home for 1 second and I just felt the rain come, and it's like, I guess the rain follows a meteorologist wherever he goes. So maybe we just need to get out and visit you guys a little bit more, and then you'd be getting a few more of these showers, right? Isn't that how it works? But the heaviest portions down there towards Kosciuszko, clearing out on the southern end of Atala County, and that's really where we sit right now at 10:10 this evening. So fortunately, a much drier forecast overnight. I know some folks just don't like to deal with that rainfall overnight. It's just too much of a nuisance, and some of that thunder can definitely wake you up. Satellite imagery shows you that those stratus clouds continue to blanket the sky, so for a large portion of us, not cooling off too much from where we're at right now, but those breaks out there in the delta, that's why I said those 81s are going to start cooling off just a bit as those breaks in the clouds happen. But Futurecast, again, very ambitious on those rain chances. Basically, if you are north of 82, we're going to be on the drier side overnight, but south, with that batch of moisture still down there towards Jackson, a few of those showers could circulate north, and then we'll be getting a few showers up here, basically south of 82. That'd be your best bet right there. But even those chances, very limited. So 7 a.m. on your Thursday, heading out the door, it should be a beautiful commute. Partly cloudy skies and low temperatures, low to mid 70s. We've been seeing this all week long. This is that typical summer pattern, right around average for this time of year. And so as we head out the door for the school bus, well, pickup going to be around 74, 92 by the time we get towards drop-off. And drop-off becomes a bit of a question. Is it going to be rain or is it not? And honestly, for a lot of us, it will not be, but a few isolated showers will mix in there towards our mid to late afternoon forecast. Futurecast showcases that partly cloudy to mostly cloudy sky for that morning commute. Moving into the mid-morning, still on the drier side. So I think we stay void of any rain chances for the most part heading into our Thursday morning. But then we get towards Thursday around lunch and you see some of those greens popping up. Now, granted, They are very light, so this is not going to be the best threat for rainfall, but again, every drop of rain matters at this point. But let's go ahead and move it into the early afternoon. Those chances become a bit heavier. We're talking about a moderate rainfall by this point, and by the time we get towards 3 p.m., some of those brief isolated downpours continue to form, but you might notice that this is dialed back way more than what it was here on the latest run. So that shows you rain chances not going to be as high as what we saw today, but still those isolated downpours definitely still possible, especially by that 5, 6, 7 o'clock hour. And so a few of those showers popping up towards Yalobusha, Clarksdale, Chula, Hollandale, even as far north there as Tippah County. So all across the area has the threat of seeing a few of those isolated showers and storms. That doesn't mean everyone's getting an isolated shower and storm. High temperatures, low to mid 90s across the region, so it is going to be hot, but those heat indices, 105 towards Greenwood, Clarksdale, Greenville. That's the reason why the Delta is still under that heat advisory heading into that 7 o'clock hour on your Thursday evening. Rest of us upper 90s, low triple digits, so it is going to be hot and muggy no matter where you're at, but some areas are better than others. As we go into our Thursday night, you see those isolated chances of showers and thunderstorms continue to stick around, similar to what we saw today, but as soon as we get to that 9 and 10 o'clock hour, those chances really die out, and we'll see a calmer forecast overnight. So midnight, staying on the drier side, and we were talking about our good friend up there, the cold front, earlier on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Basically, what we're going to get out of it is not colder temperatures, not even cooler temperatures. We're actually warming up. But what we'll get out of it is some of that drier feeling air. And that's why we get that influx in the temperatures. It's not going to feel as muggy outside, but that allows temperatures to get just a bit higher. So Friday morning, partly cloudy skies, and that front will kind of clear out of the area for northernmost counties. Winds coming out of the west-northwest by that point, so that's going to circulate in some of that drier air. By 10:30, 11 o'clock, you can see those isolated chances do pick up once again. Rain chances are very ambitious. You might hear us say that every single day this week because they are. Models have not been doing well with the moisture whatsoever. They underdid today, they overdid yesterday, they overdid the day before, so it's kind of a, how are we reading the models? And so basically assessing this right here. Where we're at in the atmosphere, we would not expect a ton of moisture for our Friday. Isolated chances, yes, and actually more diminished from what we'll see for our Thursday. So Thursday kind of driving that forecast going forward, but I do expect that Friday will be a bit of a step backwards from what we'll see Thursday, and Thursday being a bit of a step backwards from what we saw today. Definitely not what it's forecasting for on this Futurecast, but what that Futurecast does highlight for us is that there will be moisture in the forecast and there will be a few of those heavy downpours. High temperatures, low to mid 90s, 94 Bruce, Houston, New Albany, 95 Tunica, Clarksdale, and even down there towards Greenville. Heat indices, I'm going to stick around this same area because heat advisories more than likely going to be extended into our Friday, same time frame, about 12 to 7 as we head about our afternoon plan. So stay hydrated, stay safe, and of course stay cool, take frequent breaks. And hey, beyond that, it's the weekend, but the weekend, it's going to be toasty. Looking at those high temperatures, 94 for Friday, 96 Saturday, and 97 on Sunday. And then we're just going to be on the teeter-totter of heat for the start of our work week as well. And don't worry, the mugginess kind of follows with it. Does take a bit of a step back there for our Saturday and Sunday. You can see only coming in with those 103 to 104. Well, it is 103 and 104. Whenever you have temperatures about 96, 97, well, then that's where we get those mugginess values drawn back. Because imagine if there was mugginess with 97, we'd be talking about 110 to 115. So the fact we're not, that's a blessing in disguise, but it is still going to be hot and toasty forecast going forward. That's what we're talking about with rain chances though. 30% Thursday, 20% Friday. It is going to be a step down from what we saw today for Thursday, and same thing for Friday in comparison to Thursday. But then all of that becomes very limited come this weekend, and you see what it sets the scene for. We talked a couple days ago where you have higher rain percentages, cooler temperatures. Well, then you flip it and you get lower rain percentages and higher temperatures, and that's what's taking place this weekend. So heat going to be a primary factor in our forecast going forward, so make sure to stay cool and stay hydrated all week long. But of course, heading into early parts of next week, we will see those isolated chances of rain move back into the forecast, but then you see the heat also sticking around, something we're watching heading into the next few days of just what those rain chances end up being, and of course, keeping you guys as informed as possible. So I'm looking at the chat right now, and it looks like the rain was a tease. To some of us, yes, and to the Maynor household, it was up until about 9 o'clock this evening. So I will say, don't let your dreams die. The drops will come. Put that on an inspirational quote. I'm going to add that to my wall. But we thank you guys so much for joining us. If you guys want to download the app, you can see that QR code on your screen. Go ahead and get the free app today on iOS and Android. And of course, our live broadcast schedule, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. You might have noticed today, we went live before the 5. that will happen on days where there's more active weather, and of course walking you guys through that forecast so you guys stay as safe and informed as possible. So I hope you guys have a fantastic night, and we will be back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow, weather permitting. But if we need to cut in early, of course, we are right here watching 24/7, and we'll be more than available to do so to keep you guys as safe as possible. So again, have a great night. We'll see you back here at 5.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.